You have to be able to separate how you feel about someone from how someone makes you feel. Those are very different things. I may feel about a person that they are charismatic and adorable and intelligent and wise and fun, but they make me feel, or if they make me feel lonely and sad and anxious and stressed and questioning my value, that's the reality of my relationship. So you can think someone is a god, but if they make you feel like you're nothing, that's going to be your experience.
You have to be able to separate how you feel about someone from how they make you feel. That distinction, simple as it sounds, is one of the most important emotional skills you can develop. Because yes, you can look at someone and think, they're brilliant, charismatic, funny, beautiful, the life of every room. You can admire them, be drawn to them, even believe they're the one. But if after every conversation you walk away feeling lonely, anxious, small, questioning your worth, then that's not love, that's damage, disguised as connection. As this man says, you can think someone is a god, but if they make you feel like nothing, that's your reality, not the fantasy in your head, not the potential you keep believing in, the actual daily experience of being with them. And he's absolutely right, but here's what makes it so dangerous. It's incredibly hard to separate those two things, especially when manipulation is involved. Some people are emotionally skilled, not in how to love well, but in how to hook you. They give you moments of intense affection, deep intimacy, wild highs, just enough to create addiction. Then they pull away, criticize, ignore, create doubt. And that roller coaster, high after high, crash after crash, traps you. Not because you're weak, but because your nervous system starts craving the relief of their attention like a drug. You stay not because it feels good, but because leaving feels worse. You hold on because the hope of who they are sometimes blinds you to who they are most of the time. And that's how emotionally intelligent people get stuck in toxic relationships. Not because they don't know better, but because love, pain, and dopamine are tangled together so tightly, it feels impossible to pull apart. So if you're in that place, ask yourself, do I feel safe, calm, and valued when I'm with this person? Or do I feel drained, anxious, or constantly walking on eggshells? Because it doesn't matter how attractive they are, how smart, how charming. If the relationship consistently makes you feel worse than you did before it started, then no amount of admiration can save it. Real love shouldn't leave you questioning your worth, it should remind you of it. And the healthiest relationships, they don't give you extreme highs and devastating lows. They give you peace, consistency, respect. So stop romanticizing the
Men tend to forget that women typically are emotionally wired or more emotionally wired.
Yeah.
And so what happens is when she comes to you and expresses a concern, if that concern does not line up in your head logically, men tend to dismiss it. Okay?
Facts.
And they don't consider how she's feeling. And I want men to understand, you have to learn that we have to accept men and women are different. We are just built differently, and in understanding our differences, we can create more harmony with each other. When that woman says to you, this is how I feel, it's not about your logic at that point, bruh. It's about how she feels. All right? And you got to tap into that in that moment. And if you say, well, how do I know she's not lying? Listen, if she's a good woman otherwise, then there's no reason to assume it's a lie right now. All right? If you know she has not been a problem for you, then don't project that negativity on her. So many women feel dismissed and devalued because as men, again, we keep focusing on logic, but they're talking about their emotion, what they're feeling.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Right.
It may not be real to you in that moment, but that danger or her uncomfortableness in that moment is real to her. So you have to meet her there.
This man is speaking with rare emotional clarity, and he's hitting on one of the most common breakdowns in relationships. Men dismiss women's feelings because they don't make logical sense. He says it perfectly. When a woman comes to you with a concern, anxiety, fear, sadness, and it doesn't line up with your logic, your first instinct is to fix it, explain it away, or shut it down. That's not what happened. You're overreacting. Why would you think that? But here's the truth. She's not asking for logic. She's asking to be felt. Women are emotionally wired. That's not weakness, it's design. And when she says, "This is how I feel," she's not presenting a debate. She's opening a door. She's saying, "This emotion is real to me. Can you meet me here?" And if you respond with cold reason, you're not correcting her, you're rejecting her. Men, we have to accept this. Men operate from logic. Women often lead with emotion. And neither is wrong, they're just different. And understanding that difference isn't about surrendering your mind, it's about expanding your heart. If she's a good woman, loyal, kind, not manipulative, then why assume she's lying or irrational? Why project negativity onto her when she's simply expressing internal discomfort? That fear may not make sense to you, but to her in that moment, it's as real as pain. And love isn't about fixing reality, it's about honoring her experience even when you don't fully understand it. Because here's what many men miss. When she expresses something illogical, it's often not about the surface issue. It's about connection. It's about safety. It's about testing. Will he stay present when I'm not perfect? And yes, sometimes she wants you to prove how much you care. She drops a subtle cue, a sigh, a quiet comment, a hesitation, not to trap you, but to see if you notice. If you care enough to lean in, ask, comfort. That's not manipulation. That's vulnerability in disguise.
Men that get cheated on once tend to get cheated on in every relationship. When they do meet a woman that has a few red flags, they don't have the ability to set boundaries. They don't know when to say no. They feel like they're being toxic if they have any kind of needs or wants. And in those cases, what ends up happening is they attract women with a lot of red flags because they don't have the strength to stand up for women that do. So what ends up happening is they tend to be in a cycle of attracting that, unfortunately. So they're usually selecting women with a lot of trauma and a lot of issues and a lot of unhealed behavior, and then when they see that unhealed behavior, they don't know how to set that boundary.
This woman is exposing a painful but undeniable pattern. Men who get cheated on once often get cheated on again. Not because they're doomed, but because the experience reveals a deeper issue, a lack of boundaries. She's absolutely right. After betrayal, many men don't harden their standards. They lower them. They become desperate for love, validation, or proof that they're still desirable. And in that vulnerability, they attract women with red flags, trauma, emotional unavailability, manipulative tendencies, and instead of setting limits, they ignore them. Why? Because they've been conditioned to believe, if I set a boundary, I'm being toxic. If I say no, I'll lose her. If I have needs, I'm asking too much. So they stay quiet. They tolerate disrespect. They excuse bad behavior. And what happens? They attract exactly what they won't defend against. It's not that these women are evil. Many are deeply wounded, acting out patterns they never healed from. But a man with strong boundaries doesn't enable that pain. He honors it and protects himself. He says, I see your struggle, but I won't be your rebound. I won't be disrespected. I won't be lied to. But the man who doesn't know how to set boundaries, he becomes a magnet for chaos. Not because he deserves it, but because he allows it. And yes, cheating often repeats not because of bad luck, but because of weak frames. A man who can't say, this is what I accept, will keep attracting women who push until something breaks.